So who was the serpent in the Garden of Eden? The answer might shock you. So first we have to establish what the serpent came to do. The serpent came to kick the inhabitants of the garden out of the garden. How did the serpent do that? By making them eat off of the tree. But what happened when the people ate off of the tree? They were made aware of their sin. Dr. Michael Heiser is an Old Testament scholar, and he has established that the serpent was a shining one of God's angels. But he thinks it's a fallen angel, which I disagree with. There's another scholar by the name of Elaine Pagels who I agree with. John chapter 3:14, where Jesus said the Son of Man must be lifted up like Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness.
Right.
And so they say, well, who's the serpent there? The serpent was Christ. And how do you know the serpent was Christ? If you know the beginning of the Gospel of John, it says, as the serpent was lifted up in the wilderness, so the Son of Man will be lifted up.
The first time I heard that, it made me wonder why Jesus would compare himself to a serpent, a snake, right? Because after the Genesis story, serpents were supposed to be something bad, something to kind of stay away from. So Elaine Pagels says that the person at the Garden of Eden is Jesus. That's who the serpent is, all right? But it's not just that. So let me tell you why I know that it's maybe not Jesus per se, because Jesus hadn't been born at that point, okay? But the serpent at the Garden of Eden was a Christ, someone like Jesus. See, you guys have a misconception about who Jesus is and what the Christ is. You guys think that Jesus is God. Jesus is not God. He is someone who has been given authority to act in the place of God, just like the book of Daniel says, right? So again, what did the serpent come to do? He came to expose the people, the inhabitants of the Garden of Eden, of their sin, which is what Jesus did to his rival. John 15:22, he says, if I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin. Now they have no excuse for their sin. So what Jesus is saying there is that he made them aware of their sin. The Gospel according to John is a very cryptic book. There's a lot of hidden messages in there that people kind of skip over, don't really see. But that line right there, if I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin, but now they have no excuse for their sin. That's what's going on there. That's why Jesus is, or that's why the serpent is a Christ-like being. It's not the last time you have seen one of these people. There's a Christ, and he's here.